Hello, hello. We are going to do the continuation of chapter 4. I believe it's chapter 4. Yeah, chapter 4. So, yeah. I'm counting to 100. You better hide. Surprised out of her thoughts, she looked at him for a moment, her irritation broken. He winked at her, then covered his eyes. It was absurd. It was childish, and in that moment it was the only thing she wanted to do. Slightly giddy, Charlie took off, looking for a place to hide. Jason pushed the series of buttons again with increasing frustration. "I'm bored now," he announced. "How can you be bored?" Lamar said, wide-eyed. "They aren't working anymore." Jason continued to press buttons, no longer watching the monitors. Lamar studied the monitor. Bonnie's head was up and turned to the side. His eyes appeared to watch the camera. "We'll go find your sister then," he told Jason. "I don't need her permission to be bored." Impatiently, Jason climbed up and out of the control room. "Everyone is so sensitive," Lamar muttered, suddenly realizing that he was alone in the control room. He climbed out, but Jason was already gone. Jessica was leading the exploration party, heading towards the little stage they had discovered the night before. Marlowe looked back and saw Jason skipping to catch up just before they disappeared in the long hall. "Hey, be careful," she called over her shoulder as Jason branched off in his own direction. Lamar caught up to the group and followed them on their way into the hall. The main dining room was empty now, though Jason could hear Charlie and John's playful shouts echoing from the party rooms that extended off the main building. Left alone, Jason headed straight for the arcade. It was more dimly lit than the rest of the place, and without power, the arcade machines appeared as towering black monoliths in a forgotten graveyard. The air was stale and thin. Jason went to the nearest console and pressed a few buttons. Some stuck with age, but nothing happened. "Plug it in. Duh." He ducked behind the gates to check, but even though there were mounds of wires, even through the mounds of wires seemed impossible tangled. It looked like they were plugged in. Maybe there's a switch for the whole room. He started checking the walls. There was no obvious switch, but as Jason scanned the walls, he became distracted by the children drawings tapped in clusters. Jason was too young to have any memories of his own from being at Freddy's. Even Hurricane itself was no more than a hazy set of impressions. But something about the pictures brought up a sense of nostalgia. They were all the same, really, the kinds of drawings he and every other kid had done. Figures with circles for bodies and sticks for arms, and a multitude of colors. Only a few details showed which figures were the animals. Chica with her beak, Bonnie with his ears. It seemed like there had been a bit more attention paid to the drawings of Freddy Fazbear. They were a little better. The children had been a little more careful to make the details right. Jason found himself looking at one particular drawing. It was the same as the others, maybe a little better. Bonnie the bunny hugging a child. There was no name at the bottom. Jason took the picture off the wall, uncertain why this one in particular interested him so much. John burst into the room with a wide grin and a deep breath, but then, seeing that it was only Jason inside, he quickly returned to a stoic demeanor. "What's up?" He nodded his head, playing it cool, then casually stepped away before silently returning to a sprint. sprint. Playing hide and seek like babies,
Cookie.
Jason thought. I hope I never fall in love.
Please, cookie. Please, cookie.
I don't have cookies right now.
Hmm?
Bobby, don't complain. It's okay. We don't need cookies, okay?
No.
It's okay. He looked back down at the drawing and squinted as though not seeing correctly. The child was now fading away from Bonnie. Jason stared at it for a long moment. He wasn't hugging Bonnie before. He looked out of the main room, but Marla was out of sight, looking for the control room. Jason folded the drawing carefully and put it on his pocket. It was suddenly apparent how quiet it had become outside. Jason stepped out timidly and peeked into the dining room. "Guys?" he whispered, looking back once, then ventured out to find the grave.
Cookie.
"No, we're not going to have a cookie. I'm sorry.
Please.
Will after I'm done reading, okay? I have to make this video. Alright?
Alright.
Jessica, Lamar, Carlton, and Marlo were still creeping slowly through the other half of the building. The spotlights from the dining room didn't reach this far, only ascending edges and corners or specks of glitter. Jessica scanned the wall with her flashlight, looking for breaks in the plaster, and motioned to Marley to do the same. "We have to check for a hidden door," she said. "The last one wasn't really hidden," Carlton pointed out. "Yeah," Jessica conceded, but she kept her light on the wall, clearly not ready to give up the hunt. "Bobby!" They passed 2 bedrooms they had not noticed the night before. "Do you think the plumbing still works?" Carlton said. "I really need to pee." "What are you, 5 years old? I don't want to hear that." Jessica rolled her eyes and walked faster. When they got to the room with the little stage, everyone stopped. Marlo and Lombard went closer to the stage, drawing together slightly as if unaware they were doing it. Even though Carlton and Jessica had been here the night before, it was as though they were seeing it anew through Marlo's and Lombard's eyes. They still had not seen what was behind the curtain. Carlton realized suddenly. "I remember these posters," Lombard said. "I remember this too," Marlo said, pointing to the sign that read out of order strung across the stage. "My whole life I felt uneasy when I've seen that phrase, even if it's just been at a vending machine." She laughed insecurely. "I know what you mean," Lombard said softly. But before he could go on, Carlton interrupted. "Found it!" "Maybe," Jessica amended. "There was a door, close set into a wall, like the one behind the stage."
Open bed. Open the bed.
Huh?
Open bed.
Up on bed? Okay. You want up on bed?
No.
No? What did you say?
No, open the bed.
Get off of the bed?
No.
You wanted me to get off of the bed?
No. Up a bed.
You want up on bed?
Yeah.
Uh,
Up.
But, come on.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Somebody did. Somebody did. Somebody did. A passage.
Found it, maybe, Jessica admitted. There was a door, close set into the wall, like the one below the stage. Not quite hidden, but not meant to be noticed. It was painted black like the walls of the room. Jessica turned the knob and pulled. It was stuck tight.
What?
Huh?
Huh?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay, no sound. Look, the llama said. I don't think so. Let me try, Marlon said. She grabbed the knob and yanked it, and it came open, sending her stumbling back. Impressive, Lamar said. Yeah, well, taking care of Jason makes me tough. Marla grinned as she knelt down to squeeze through the small door. It was almost the same as the first room, a set of 8 TV screens and a large panel of unmarked black buttons. Carlton fumbled to find the master switch, reaching his hand into the dark corner. Then with a click, the power came on and a soft buzzing sound filled the room. Rich, bizarre reds and blues began streaming in under the door from the stage lights outside. Jessica and Carlton began switching the television on. They fiddled with the knobs until they were showing pictures, though most were very dark. And from here, they could see a long shot of the main stage, just as in the other room, but the rest of the cameras were showing other places and angles. While the first control room had only shots of the main dining room, here they could see into other areas of the restaurant. The private party rooms, which were set up with glittery decorations for events that would never happen. Hallways, an office, and even what looked like a storage closet. The room behind behind them was visible as well. The camera trained out on the out-of-order sign, now lit with otherworldly shades, and the curtain behind it. On one screen, they could see Jason ducking back into the arcade. Maybe I should go get him, Marlon said, but no one responded. Carlton started pressing buttons. Spotlights appeared and vanished on the stage in the main dining room as he did, illuminating first one animal, then another, lighting up empty spaces where someone might once have stood. He flipped the switch, and it seemed for a moment that nothing happened. Then Lamar started laughing, pointing at the screen. The pizza decorations lined the walls were spinning wildly, as though they might leap off and go rolling away. I forgot they used to do that, Lumbar said, as Carlton brought them slowly to a halt. There was a large black dial to one side of the buttons, and Carlton spun it. It seemed to do nothing. Let me try, Lumbar said. He elbowed Carlton to the side and pressed another button. There was a high-pitched whine, and they all jumped, and it quickly faded down to a static hum. Mama pressed the button again, and the sound was gone. I guess we know what turns the speaker on, Carlton said. I bet we could figure out how to play the music, Jessica said. She reached forward and pushed something else. The stage light popped up while the main lights dimmed. The figures on the main stage suddenly stood out a little, commanding attention. She pushed it again, and the lights fade back to normal. I love that. What are you doing, Al? Said Carlton. What? Asked Marla. Stage lights, he said. One switch and it's like the whole another world up there. Another button flickered the stage lights on and off in the room behind them, while another started and stopped the little merry-go-round, its twinkling music grinding too slowly, like the ride itself was trying to remember how the song went. They managed to get the speakers on again without the feedback whine, but there was still only static. I have an idea, Jessica said, pushing to the front of the group. Yeah. She switched on the static again, then started turning the knob back and forth. The hum grew lower in pitch, then higher, responding to her adjustment. Yeah, progress, Carlton said. It's still just static, Marla said, unimpressed. Jessica turned it low again, then snatched her hand from the dial like she had been bitten and punched the button, shutting the speakers off. What? Marla asked. Jessica remained motionless, her hands still suspended in the air. What happened? Did it shock you? Carlton asked. Sounded like a voice, Jessica answered. What did it say? Marla asked, apparently interested again. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Where am I? Let me try again. She turned the speakers on again, calling forth the static, and lowered the hum as they all listened, intent on the sound. As it sank to the lower register, just below the range of the human voice, they all heard it, grinding in broken words, almost too slow and distorted to be considered speech. They looked at one another. What on earth? Marla said. No, it's just a random static, Mama said. He reached for the controls and dialed the pitch back up slowly. For another fleeting moment, there was a purposeful sound. That sounded like singing, Carlton said. No, Mumbo said, sounding more unsure this time. Do it again, Marlo said. Mumbo did, but this time the static was empty. Is that Charlie? Marlo suddenly became focused on a blurry figure moving in the dark hall towards them, sliding along the wall as though to remain unnoticed. Charlie was hurrying, almost skipping, and trying to find another place to hide. She glanced behind her, vaguely suspecting that John might be cheating. She moved through the darkness and towards the colorful glow of the small stage curtain, which was throwing eerie reds and blues onto the tables and party hats. Going down the passage, this passage had always felt like a long and perilous journey, not one to be made alone. She kept her gaze fixed behind her, letting the wall beside her guide her steps. She knew John was close, probably creeping up on her in the dark. Suddenly she backed into something, stopping short. She had been moving faster than she thought, or more likely the hall was not as long as she remembered. She saw his shadow at the end of the hall. If he turned his head, he would see her. Without thinking, Charlie climbed up onto a platform that she had bumped into and ducked behind the curtain, tucking herself between the wall and a large, bubbly prop, trying not to freeze. Charlie? He called, still far away. Charlie! Charlie felt her heartbeat quicken. There had been, boys she liked now and then, but this was something different. She wanted him to find her, but not quite yet. As she waited, her eyes adjusted to the darkness, and she was able to make out the shape of the curtain and the edge of the stage. Bobby! She looked up at the object in front of her. No. Her body shuddered, then froze. It was standing over her. It was a thing from her father's workshop, the misshapen thing that hung in the corner, shaken by random convulsions as its eyes burned silver. Does it hurt? Now it was still, and its eyes were blank and dull. It was staring straight ahead, intense, insensitive, in its arms with its book. hung and was useless as his sides. She recognized his eyes, but he was somehow worse now, encased in the hollow body parts and matted with red fur, with a stench of oil and glue. He had a name now. They called him Foxy. But she knew better. Charlie shrank away, pressing against the wall. Her heart was racing and her breath was shallow too fast. Her arm had been touching his leg, and now she felt an insane itchiness from it, like she had been contaminated. She wiped her hand violently against her shirt as she began to panic. Run. She sprang away from it, pushing off the wall to get away, to move before it saw her, but the edge of the stage caught her foot. She stumbled forward, momentarily becoming entangled in the curtain. She struggled to get free when suddenly the thing arm jerked up, and the hook slashed her arm. She ducked away, and it cut her. The pain was shocking, like freezing water. She tripped backwards and felt herself falling for long seconds. Then she was caught. "Charlie, are you okay?" It was John. He had caught her. She tried to nod, but she was shaking. She looked at her arm. There was a cut above the elbow, almost 4 inches long. It was bleeding freely, and she covered her hand with it, the gap between her fingers welling over as her own blood leaked through. "What happened?" Marlo asked, rushing up behind her. "Charlie, I'm so sorry. I must have hit a button that caused it to move. Are you okay?" Charlie nodded, a little shaky. "I'm fine," she said. "It's not that bad." She moved her arm around experimentally. "See? No nerve damage," she said. "I'll be fine." Carlton and Jessica and Mama came hurrying out of the control room. "We should take her to the ER," Carlton said. "I'm fine," Charlie insisted. She stood up, refusing John's help and bracing herself on the stage for a moment. She heard her Aunt Jen's voice in her head. "How much blood have you lost? You don't need to go to a hospital." She could move her arm just fine, and she would not bleed to death from this. This felt dizzy, though. "Down? You're going down."
Up.
She felt dizzy, though. "Charlie, you look like a ghost," John said. "We need to get you out of here." "Okay," she said. Her thoughts were scattered, and the injury hurt less than it should have. She took a deep breath as they headed for the exit, grounded herself. John handed her a piece of cloth, and she put it to the cut to slow the bleeding. "Thanks," she said, looking at him. Something was missing. "Was that your tie?" she asked, and he shrugged. "Do I look like a tie person?" She grinned.
Up in bed.
"You want up?"
No, open the bed. No.
Okay, no. "Do I look like a tie person?" She grinned. "I thought it looked good on you." "Bobby, you want to go up?
No, open the bed.
You want to go up on the bed?"
No.
Okay. "Jason," Marla yelled as they passed the arcade. "Move it or I'm leaving you behind." Jason ran to catch up. "Is Charlie okay?" He asked anxiously. Marlo caught her breath and she put her arm around him. "She's fine." "Woo! Bobby, stop! No! That doesn't hold your weight. See?
Yeah.
Stop, Bobby." Okay, I'm gonna stop this.